Today, we are going to talk about how to become confident and why is it important to learn the skills and practice to be confident. Confidence is related to your success and how quick you become successful in your relationship, successful with your money, with your health, with anything, and how you defined your success. Confidence for women is especially very important because when women are confident, then they can start creating their life through changing themselves. I want to share the story of two twins. One twin became very successful businessman, and the second one became alcoholic. And they were raised in the same family where father was very abusive and alcoholic. The psychologist, they were watching these twins the whole life. And after they became maybe 50 years old, these twins were interviewed, and the psychologist asked, okay, tell me why you became a successful businessman. And he told the psychologist that, what do you think? If my father was alcoholic, that's why I became a successful man. You see, here he says, because my father was never available for us, because my father was abusive to us and with our mom. That's why I didn't want to become like my father. I wanted to be the best I could be for my kids, for my wife, and be successful in life. And he became like that because in his childhood, that's the meaning he gave to that situation. And then the psychologist asked the second adult who became alcoholic, and he asked the same question. Why an alcoholic adult told the psychologist, what do you mean? My father was alcoholic. Who do you want me to become? I became alcoholic like my father. And here, this child, when he was a child, he made a meaning. He put the meaning to that situation. Oh, if my father is alcoholic, that means I will become alcoholic. I will become like my father. And he became like his father. So that's how we become who we are today based on the meaning we put to the situation, whatever happened with us in the past. And that's why it's important to identify the limiting beliefs, the values that you have right now, and whatever works for you in your life right now, we want to keep them. But we want to get rid of those limiting beliefs, those meanings that we put around the situations, and they became, as a result, our beliefs. We and that are not working for us. We want to get rid of them the right way. We want to accept it, then we want to say thank you to them, and then we want to let them go, to release from our mind and our body. And this is how we become confident, how we start our journey to become confident. Whatever beliefs, limiting beliefs we keep in our mind, in our memories, and those beliefs are holding us back and stopping us. And I see that in myself. I had many limiting beliefs, but I also see how I'm changing. Whatever I'm sharing with you is the things that I applied in my life, and I have been applying in my life because it's a daily work. And you know why? Because we have thoughts in our mind. And then based on those thoughts, we create inner stories. And by nature, those stories are disempowering us. Those stories are keeping us in confidence to believe that we are not good enough, that we are not good enough in anything. And that's why we don't need to do anything. And that's why those limiting beliefs, those limiting thoughts that limits us, they keep us stuck. And it's a daily struggle, it's a daily work to work with our mind and manage our thoughts because our thoughts create our emotions and our emotions create our behavior. And because by nature, our brain is used to stuck to negativity, to find negativity in any situations, that's how we feel and that's how we behave. And it's a work. We have to put some efforts, we have to put some practice to practice our brain to focus on the good, to focus on gratitude, even in the negative situation, and then release it. Ask, what did it teach me? And then thank and release from our mind because that's how we feel freedom. Free from negativity, free from anger, free from frustration, and that's how we want to start our journey to confidence. If you noticed, we have inner critic in our mind. And why is that? It comes from our childhood because, as we said, all those limiting beliefs come from our childhood. Somebody in the past criticized you. It can be your parents, it can be your neighbors, it can be your friends, even your relatives. Somebody criticized you, somebody compared you. Look at your friends, look at your neighbors, look at your classmates. And during those comparisons, whoever told you in the past, in your childhood, made you feel that you're not good enough, that they're better than you. And that's how those criticism is in our mind all the time. And that's how we develop inner critic inside us because of such situations. And maybe there were many situations. I don't know how old are you, but we keep building those negative memories and we keep them in our mind because we remember the emotions. We don't remember what happened, but we remember uh, who our emotions, unfortunately. And that's why our body remembers our emotions. That's why if it is negative emotion, if it is disappointment, resentment, hatred, then it's inside us and it bothers us from living the best life in the present. And that's how the inner critic is inside our mind. Whatever we want to do, it's always there, like, oh, you're not good enough, don't do. And it stops us, right? So, in order to start our journey to confidence, we need to get rid of inner critic. How? Through forgiveness. Forgiveness is the best, easiest, fastest, and most effective instrument to get rid of inner critic, and it makes you feel free immediately. When I struggled with negative thoughts and inner critic, I know it made me not only feel stuck, it made me make mistakes because we have inner critic. We live on autopilot on our emotions, and if those emotions are negative, that's not good for you, for the environment, for anybody, for your family, for your kids, because you are always on low vibrations, low energy, are always frustrated, always not feeling good enough. and find negativity, because whatever you are inside, how you feel inside, that's how you behave. Remember, we were saying that our thoughts create our emotions and our emotions create our behavior. So if we are not good enough inside, negative, frustrated, disappointed, this is the way we act outside with our kids, with our husbands, with our colleagues, with our friends, with anybody, right? Even with yourself, because that's first and important. That's how you love yourself. Because the moment you understand that loving yourself means that I'm not hurting myself, I'm not hurting my body, I'm not hurting my health, I'm not hurting my mind. I am kind to my mind, I'm kind to my body, I'm kind to me, I'm loving me. Then you will do this forgiveness exercise with joy and with willingness, and you take it seriously because you understand that being angry, being frustrated, being in low, bad mood is your habit. It became your habit because you kept those memories for so long. And that's why you were abusing your mind and your body for so long. And that's not self love. Self love is when you feel free from negative memories, when you feel free from disappointment, when you feel joy and gratitude every day. Because once you understand that, then you do it and take it seriously. And how to do it? So, the first thing, how to forgive yourself, how to release negative memories and inner critic is forgive yourself. First and foremost, you start with yourself, forgiving that you acted the way you acted. You were not kind to your mind, to your body, because of the awareness that you had at that time. If you would have known, you would forgive yourself earlier, right? But when we don't know, we don't know. That's why this forgiveness starts with you. Maybe you remember the situations where you acted, where you behaved, where you thought negatively. Maybe you think it's wrong. Maybe they think it's wrong, but you think it's right. But anyway, if the outcome is not good, then forgive yourself. So, this is how we start to remove inner critic from our mind, from our body, and and in general through forgiveness, through with the help of writing a letter of forgiveness when you forgive yourself. Okay. But then make a list of all the people that you remember criticized you. It can be during your marriage, it can be in the past, from your childhood, anybody, maybe your teacher said something that you still remember and you feel resented. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's your sibling or friend. Sometimes you never know, right? But when you start writing, journaling, think of all the people who criticized you, even one time, but you still remember. And then every day, forgiveness letter. You can use freestyle, you can use any word because you're not doing it for them. You don't even have to send or mail this letter. You just writing it for yourself and making a gift to yourself to feel free. Because once you let it release from your mind, put it on the paper, it's gone. That's how you do this forgiveness letter. You are doing it in order to forgive other people as well. This is what you need to understand. You need to understand that whatever happens, you feel resented, you feel disappointed because of that situation, because of that person. But in reality, what I realized is that we need to forgive that person because that person did whatever he did based on his awareness because he didn't understand what he was doing. I didn't understand what I was doing. So, because in any situation, there are not the right, the wrong person. Everybody is wrong because of the lack of communication, miscommunication, no communication. It's always two sides that made that happen. And that's why once you understand that, okay, it's not only the other person's fault, it's also my fault. That's why I can forgive him, I can forgive myself, and then you can thank that person because whatever happened, you learned something from that situation. Or if you didn't reflect, then you can reflect right now and say, thank you. What I learned about you from that situation is this. What I learned about me from that situation about this. And I'm so grateful for that because from now on, I am going to do like this or feel like this or think like this. And then I am releasing from my mind and my body because I forgive you and I let it go. And once you do this forgiveness letter every day for each person, then you will see how you feel like free. This is what happened to me. Like every day, I was thinking of every situation where I felt resented, felt not valued, felt criticized, felt so bad. I was remembering those situations and I was forgiving those people who did it. And forgiving myself, of course. This is the first thing, right? So that's how we start working on ourselves and building our confidence. Once we forgive everyone, then we created space inside us. And then that's the time when we can create or co create ourselves. That's when we start working on our image, our self image. Our thoughts usually rooted about ourselves based on what we are capable of, what we deserve, how much we deserve in life, and who we are, right? If we think that we are not good enough, we are not beautiful enough, we are not smart enough, and then we can consequently say, I cannot do this, I can't reach that level, I can't sell, I'm not good at sales, then you are reducing the self esteem, self worth, because you're all the time saying to yourself that you're not good enough, you cannot do this. In reality, it was telling your inner critic. Once we got rid of the inner critic through writing letters, then we can say all the good stuff to ourselves and create our self image. For example, today I'm going to share with you other practical exercises that will help you. Mirror work is when you look into the mirror and tell yourself your name. So when you look into your eyes and say your name, then you may feel awkward. Anything and everything, whatever you do for the first time, it feels awkward because it's not normal. For your brain, it's not normal. And whenever it's not normal, it feels awkward. You don't say it with confidence. But when you say it second time, third time, fourth time, then not only you will say it loud, but you will say it with confidence. For example, I look in my eyes and I say, hey, my name is Aigul. I love you for who you are. I love you in the past. I love you in the present. I love you in the future. You and I, we are together. We are together, and no matter what, I encourage you. You always encourage me. Let's encourage each other. So that's way you look into the mirror and you will feel that the more you talk to yourself, it becomes normal to you. Because once it becomes normal for your brain, it accepts as normal. And then you start to believe it. And then it's easier for you to talk to your mirror, to yourself. And try this exercise for 30 days. Why? Because it needs to become a habit. Remember, during the first step when we identified our inner critic and then we forgave through the letters all the people who criticize us, that's our old habit, thinking about criticism, thinking about negativity, right? So now, after releasing it, what you are doing right now is you are creating a new habit. And our life consists of habits, small habits. And once you understand that, and once you take it seriously, then you will do it consistently. I remember when I was doing it consistently, I was so happy, my energies were so high. But once I stopped it, because it became my habit, and then once it becomes your habit, then you do it in your mind, you do it. But something happens, something negative happens, and then you get back to your old habit, old disempowering statements like, oh, I'm not good enough. This is not going my way, so it's not good enough. So that means I'm not good enough. And in those moments, this is so important that to go back to the mirror work and say good things about you and say, okay, what is happening right now? No matter what, I love you. So this is important, okay? Self encouragement and mirror work is important. Say it loudly, say with confidence your name that you love yourself no matter what. Okay. The second exercise is when you talk in your mirror, or you can talk just whenever you feel comfortable. You talk to your inner child because what I realize is that we have three personalities inside us, that we need to work mindfully. We have inner child, we have a parent, and we have a mature adult. So whenever you feel disencouraged, whenever you feel sad, that's your inner child. And that inner child needs a parent who will say kind words, who will say, I love you, you're doing great, I'm proud of you. The parent who would validate your feelings and encourage you. So during that time, what I also notice, it's working. When you feel sad, when you feel disencouraged, you just need to do the self talk and self-talk with and work with your inner child, because if you're sad, that your inner child sad, and then you can have a dialogue between your inner parent with inner child, and you're like coaching your child or parenting like your child. And the third tool to practice also on daily basis to increase your self worth, self esteem, and as a result, self confidence is saying to yourself five compliments every day. When you talk and say these compliments to yourself, looking into the mirror, it works faster, it works better. So you can say, okay, my name is Aigun. I'm so proud of doing the second training today. I am so proud that you are fearful, you are afraid, but you're doing it anyway. And so, whatever it is, or even if you cook a delicious food, right? You can say, I'm so glad that you cooked a delicious food. You can say compliments, whatever. If you draw something, if you were silent and you didn't react to the negative comments, somebody commented you, maybe somebody showed you attitude, and you were like, it's not about me, it's about them. I'm so grateful that I was so patient. So, whatever it is during the day, or what happened, or in regard with your patience, your well being, anything, you can say five things to compliment you. Why do you want to do that? Because you are reminding and you are telling as a command to your brain that I am good enough. I am doing this. I'm afraid, but I'm still taking actions. I am doubtful, but I know it's normal and I'm doing it anyway. Whenever you compliment yourself and remind it daily, that increases your self worth. So try these four exercises, right? Today I shared with you four practical tools how to start the journey to become confident. In my life, I use these tools subconsciously, consciously. I use those tools, and I was very vulnerable. I was very fearful. I could not talk at all. I could not talk publicly at all. I was so scared. But I believe that in the past, I was doing all of this without realizing that I was practicing how to become confident. Now I'm sharing with you mindfully. These are the evidence based tools that are working effectively. And that's why once I became confident, it helped me to graduate from university, to come to the United States, to marry. Even when I lost everything, thought I was unworthy. And that's how I built confidence. Thanks to the self talk, through writing, through forgiveness, through saying to myself that I am worthy. And I was giving to myself compliments. And that's important. Try these tools and then share with me what changes you see in yourself. Do it every day. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening, you can do it during the day. Whenever you go and look at the mirror, say one thing, say five things. But writing needs to be daily until you forgive everybody. It may take 1 week, it may take 1 month. It depends. It depends on your willingness to start the work and on the number of people who criticize you. And also depends how consistently you're writing the letters. That's it for today. See you next time.